you. All right, we're back. Morse Code Podcast, episode 115. Dan Morse, Soapy Pre-App. How are you, bud? Good to see the faces.
Doing well.
Good.
Doing well. Just some house cleaning, making sure that the display behind me is presentable.
Yeah, good looks. It is a Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by our friends at Cold River Vodka and Gin. We touched on that last time, but make sure to check them out, especially if you're in the local area, Maine, New Hampshire, Mass. Check out Cold River Vodka online and see if they're located at a store near you. If you're listening, Soapy is holding the bottle of gin right now and presenting it very nicely. If you're watching, you certainly know what I'm talking about. I'm actually enjoying a nice Cold River gin and tonic as we speak.
Ooh, you should do that.
Real good. Yeah, really good. Highly suggest it. I just came up with it tonight, but they actually pair very well with each other.
Yeah, I've never heard of that combination before.
It's a good one. Very good one. So check them out. Really good stuff. Thanks again for sponsoring us. And we kind of hinted on this online recently this week. A lot of people keep asking about merchandise. As you can see, Soapy again, modeling one of our fan favorites across his little boy chest is one of our Morse Code podcast t-shirts. So
yes, my 28-inch chest.
Yeah. We'll have that up and running shortly. Actually, that's a good point. I know a lot of websites have they use an example model. So that's a youth XL or boys small t-shirt.
This is a toddler's extra medium.
Okay, perfect. An extra medium long. So if you fit the bill, that's the size I would go with.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's what keeps the lights on. We got the advertisement. But no, it's been a week. We should actually, you know what? We should get into the zoology portion of our program and address the elephant in the room. We've been a little more on the 1 per week cadence the last month or so, just because A, that kind of fit our schedule a little better, and B, up until a few days ago, there really wasn't much going on in the NBA and the world. That certainly changed. We'll get to that shortly. But I think we should be back to our usual Monday evening, Thursday evening programming. If any other small business is listening and want to partner with us, and I think our minimum, we'd listen to an offer at $5,000 a month, but you know what I mean? That's where I think
that's the floor. Yeah,
that's the floor. Good point. So if you're in there, let us know. I just don't want to waste anyone's time. That's a big sales thing. I want to set the appropriate expectations, and I want to qualify our buyers.
Yeah, I don't want to say that we're tough customers, but it's not Rich Paul that represents us, but it's not Rich Paul.
Paul Rich, his ambidextrous cousin that not many people know about. And we get into him later, but let's get right into it. I know we talked a lot about Kevin Durant, so we're recording this Thursday night. I hate when this happens too, because the Nets are playing tonight. I really don't care about talking about game 6. There's enough good stuff in game 5. I know we each have our kind of notes around the Nets, around Kevin Durant. This is the only thing I wrote down to maybe start the conversation. And I'll see how you react to this. Take this as you will. I think Kevin Durant's the most fascinating player in the NBA. I think it's the perfect way to put it. On the court, off the court, his social media we obviously know about. Off the court, I know there's some other stories going around the last week or so that are worth mentioning, and on the court is definitely worth mentioning too, especially after game 5.
Pretty decent on the court.
I just think he is the most fascinating player in the NBA.
He's very well rounded in terms of being an entertaining performer on and off his actual craft. So yeah. I'm 100% on board.
I mean, if we want to start on court, I don't think there's a question. I think he's the best player in the NBA. When he's healthy, when he's playing, I don't know. I mean, who else is there? I think it's been such a long time that we couldn't even have that conversation because it's just LeBron. I think we're at the point. I'm not saying LeBron stinks and is washed up, but I think we can definitely have the conversation at this point. And there's other guys in there too. I don't know. If someone else, I personally, I think Kevin Durant's the best player in the league right now. So if someone asked you that, is that what you think, or do you still think some of the other guys?
I think it is Kevin Durant is the best basketball player. But if someone asked you the follow-up question, could LeBron surpass him again like next season, what would your answer be?
Maybe, but the more time that passes, that likelihood is going to get lower and lower, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I didn't put this in the show notes. I did look this up on the internet. Every year that passes, LeBron is getting older, and Kevin Durant for that matter. But that should be factored into the equation.
Another famous
like 36, 37, mind you, but he's getting up there.
Another famous analytic tweet is that Father Time is undefeated. I don't know the home and road splits, but I mean it's undefeated no matter where he is.
Never lost. Father Time and who's the ball father? I can't even keep track of him anymore. LeVar Ball 1-on-1, undefeated. Never lost. Never will. What a family. Big week for that family too, but I don't know. So I'm trying to think back to game 5. I know the final stat line, the Bucks had a healthy lead throughout that game, right? At least 10 points pretty consistently. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm confusing that. I'm blurring that with the 76ers game as well.
Seriously.
So, yeah.
Which I'm also blurring with the other 76ers game earlier this week where they blew a lead.
Yeah, it's not great. Not great at all. But I was curious to see how that went. Kyrie's out. Harden, and that's the other thing. I almost said this too, but I didn't get around to it. Looking at the box score, I almost think Harden's stat line is just as impressive as Kevin Durant's. To have that box score. If you looked at that box score and guessed how many minutes he played, I would have thought like he was hurt. You know, he's getting limited minutes. Let me pull it up. I know it's single digits. Do you remember the actual number? I want to say 8. Was it 8 points?
That sounds about right. Points? It was definitely a triple single.
James Harden had 5 points in 46 minutes. He was 1 for 10 from the field. And I know what you're thinking, lamestream media. Well, he must have had like 15 plus assists, maybe double digit rebounds.
Oh, of course.
No.
No?
6 assists. SIX.
Could have fooled me.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. 8 assists, 6 rebounds. Well, okay. 5 points. What's that? That's a field goal and then maybe a couple free throws. He must have had a 3-point shot mixed into that at some point.
Had to. It's one of his fortes.
And I just thought of this too. I'm assuming this is an ode to Kobe, but he went 0 for 8 from 3 behind the arc. In 46 minutes. Like, how does that happen? I remember watching the game because it's not like it. I don't think it was that. I think, again, his final field goal was 1 for 10. It would have been more noticeable if he was like 2 for 26 or something like that. 10 shots in 46 minutes, I think is hard enough to do. That's just a bizarre box score.
I got a comparison. Remember when we were talking about NBA 2K a little while back with super producer Brian Leahy?
Yeah.
I think that internally James Harden was feeling the way that we used to like see Ray Allen on the court when we played 2K.
Yeah, he didn't.
Where if he comes off one pick and you've just like over turboed him, he just looks like he might as well be paraplegic. Like he's just limping all over the court. I think that's how James Harden felt inside, regardless of how well he hit it.
I still think you could definitely tell physically. I just don't get where 46 minutes came from. I don't get it. That's crazy. That's an insult to your bench.
I guess I admire it in a way because that's like what's he giving that up for the team.
If he was fully healthy and played 46, same with Kevin Durant. I'm curious to see how he looks tonight too. If James Harden was fully healthy and had an average James Harden game, 25, that's like below average, 25, 30 points in 46 minutes. I'd be curious to see how he comes out tonight. He was clearly not 100% and still played 46 minutes on the court, netting plus 5 points. That just seems so crazy to me. But I think Kevin Durant's stat line was decent. 49 points, 17 rebounds, and 10 assists. Actually, you know what? PJ Tucker's stat line is up there too. 0 points.
Yep.
0 assists. So not only did he not score a basket, he also didn't help help someone else make a basket the entire game. 4 rebounds, 5 personal fouls. That's a N'Keal Harry stat line. More bad
minutes, right?
33 minutes. Played most of the game. That's a N'Keal Harry stat line. You did more bad than good on paper.
I said this on Twitter for anyone who's not familiar with PJ Tucker. Big sneakerhead.
Or Twitter.
Imagine how he would have been without the sneakers that he was in. Like, they should only let him play with like general release.
You got to earn a shoe change.
Yeah.
Like that's like a 2K, like you earned a milestone. Like you get to get a new pair of sneakers.
Downgrade him to like some previously worn and used like Adidas Pro models or something. Like no more player exclusives.
Nah,
definitely no more Nikes.
Hell no. That guy's got to be costing Nike money.
Yeah.
If I'm a young kid who's considering playing basketball and also wearing shoes to play such game, I watch that and I'm like, I'm straight.
Yeah.
I'm good. I was going to say KD does wear Nike as well. So I don't know. It's just a tough look. Never mind. I was going to say Steph or Kawhi, but they're both out as well. So yeah, I guess KD is just carrying not only the Nets, but he's carrying a multi-billion-dollar corporation as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Harden's an Adidas guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Kyrie's Nike. Yeah, I don't know. It's
PJ should have to wear like the Dadas or something.
He should just have to go like barefoot or wear like Birkenstocks or something.
Yeah.
Can't get any worse.
I tweeted he should be wearing those Jesus sandals.
Yeah, no kidding. Or it's the other side of that. Like he was playing so poorly, it must be the shoes. I got to change into a new pair. The polar opposite of the Michael Jordan campaign.
Yeah,
got to be the shoes. Yeah, I don't know. He's a tough look. I mean, he's
technically, guys, it was the shoes, but
not
in the way you're thinking.
Very different result on each end. Milwaukee's a weird team. They're like they're a very ugly team, no? Like just in general.
Oh yeah.
They're a grit
the
grit and
jerseys.
grace. Yeah. I don't know. That was the other, I guess, storyline from that game from this week. That's a tough look too, having Giannis. The best clip was Giannis like posting up a clearly, suboptimal James Harden and just doing a weird like fadeaway type. Like he was almost watching Kevin Durant, like, oh, I can do that. Just like not doing that. One of the funniest things in pro basketball is watching Giannis like pull up for 3. It's so bizarre. And like every body part is like pointed in a different direction. Like when he goes to shoot, dude, like elbows out, feet like crisscross, and then I don't know. It's almost like the Marcus Smart treatment. Like I think he hit his first 3, or he hit like one of his early 3s, and he's like, okay, it's gonna be one of those nights. I'm cooking. Yeah. I don't know what were some of your takeaways? I mean, I guess in NBA it's that. Well, like not to sell it short, there's been 100 big stories over the last like 2 games, but I know we started with Kevin Durant. Before we get into some of the other stuff you want to talk about, did you have any different takeaways from Game 5 or KD's performance there?
No, just that highlight that you talked about. Giannis backing down Harden.
Oh, yeah.
And like,
tough
dude,
look.
that you wouldn't hit that shot in an empty gym, let alone with an NBA player. I don't care how injured guarding you. Like,
no,
you couldn't. There's like a lot of videos that get shown of like a draft prospect working out, and it would be someone backing down a fucking chair in the lane.
Yeah, a kid holding like a like rubber like football pad. Like,
or shooting over a broomstick that's just like laying on the floor. Like, I don't think Giannis would have hit it if I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he would have hit that in an empty gym, let alone in the playoffs against a human standing up.
It was similar distance to a free throw, which are literally unguarded, and he's not making those at a very respectable rate. So yeah, I would bet the under.
He can't even take those in the allotted amount of time.
Not enough time. Father time, back at it again. Another killing. No, that was something else, and maybe this is the other thing we meant to touch on. I think we've hinted at this before. Well, actually, I wrote it down how I wanted to phrase it. It's more of a question, I guess. Couple things on KD on the court, then we'll go off. So off the court, the big ones are Twitter and everything else. Here's the question I wanted to ask you. Do you think we've moved past the "my next move" cover? the Warriors thing. It's still there. I think it's weighing less and less at this point for me. Like I'm genuinely looking forward to watching him play tonight. Like watching the Nets play. Like on the court, I like watching it. I think it's just worth, especially with everyone else being out. Like honestly, what else do we have to look forward to in the playoffs? Rudy Gobert,
God,
Devin Booker. I feel like the Suns haven't played in like 2 months.
The Paul George redemption story.
Oh, God, that series is such a lose-lose. I hope they both fucking just forfeit. That's gonna stink. They're gonna win the next game, and Paul George is gonna get a statue outside of the fucking Staples Center, or Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell are gonna go on a Penny and Shaq road trip like to the finals. I don't know.
They're gonna split the finals MVP.
Oh, that's gonna blow. That's gonna really suck and blow and stink. But I don't know. Like I'm not saying I like Kevin Durant, but I am, like, beginning of the show, I think it's fascinating. I enjoy following him. I'm interested in what he's doing on a daily basis.
Yep.
Whether it be on the court or off the court. I also thought, this was my other thought, and I know people are having this conversation. I think let me ask you, do you think most people have Kevin Durant in their top 10 all time? Like right now?
I think if they're being honest with themselves, yeah.
Okay, I agree. I don't get why I just feel like that's still not a conversation. I talked earlier about best player in the league today. That's clearly not a unanimous, no doubt, because you mentioned some other guys. I don't understand what else he has to do to be like a certified top 10 player of all time. I think he's by far one of the best offensive players I've ever seen. He has titles, MVP, college accolades, a college, noteworthy time in college. What else? That's pretty much it. All-Stars, scoring titles. That was the other one. Scoring titles.
Mm-hmm.
Very good chance he can win a title this year. I'm not saying he's like top 3, but I think he's comfortable. Not only right now, but by the time he retires, I don't think it's a stretch to say he's top 5, top 6. Yeah, like he could leapfrog guys like Larry Bird, and I'm trying to think who else is up there like all time.
Duncan Shaq.
I didn't say it publicly, but do you think he's better than Kobe all time? That's probably the one.
Like, will he be now. Or currently?
I guess will he be? Again, I don't think there's going to be a big gap between currently and will he be. Like, he's currently true. He has currently a very good resume. Say he wins another championship, maybe 2, maybe a scoring title. I don't know. It's like the only difference is he's going to have that super team, I think, kind of, tag on him for a lot of people. But I think you can argue he's a comparable scorer, maybe a better scorer. I was going to say more fascinating, but Kobe was definitely fascinating. He had an off the court life. So I don't know. I just think it's interesting. I just think it all comes down to, we said this last year during the bubble playoffs. I kind of, not like rooting for the Lakers, but I think I said, like, I wasn't going to be terribly mad if LeBron won, because I also think it's cool to see like greatness happen. Like, it's at this point, if LeBron loses more titles, no one's going to remember that. Like, they already will just remember him as someone who lost more finals than he won. If he wins more titles, that's what people remember. I think Kevin Durant has a potential, if he wins more titles, to really like lay on that legacy rank. And it'd just be cool to say, like, hey, like, I watched Kevin Durant, I watched LeBron, Kobe, just the same way people talk about watching Larry Bird and fucking, I don't know, Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he could easily be top 5 by the time that his career's over.
I'm just trying to think, like, who else is that? Say he has 2 now, right? Titles.
Yep.
Let's say he retires with minimum 3, which I think is, unless the Nets somehow implode between the next few years, I think fair. So 3 rings, an MVP, scoring titles. He's just fucking Kevin Durant. Like, and then there's the eye test. Like, he's Kevin Durant. Very, very good offensive weapon. I think he's top 5.
Yeah.
Like, I think people remember, especially locally, Larry Bird is someone who has like a handful of rings. He has what, 2 or 3?
3.
3. Okay. There's a lot of other guys who have 3. Same with like, what does Magic have? 3 as well?
He has 5.
5? Damn. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a little different then. Who else? Who else do you think is people's top 10? Shaq, you said? I think that's fair.
Shaq's got 4.
Shaq has titles, but I think Kevin Durant's a better offensive player than Shaq. Shaq was just like right place at the right time.
LeBron's got 4.
Freak. Yeah, he's not passing LeBron.
Kareem's got 6. I don't think he'll pass Kareem.
Can't pass Kareem. Can't pass Mike. So Mike, LeBron, Kareem.
Kobe's got 5.
I think I don't know. I think if you look at it in a vacuum, I think you can argue Durant over Kobe. If he ends at 3, he could get 4. I mean, he's going to have more career points per game, I would think. More overall points, I would think. I think he's a better rebounder, if I had to guess. I don't know. Maybe it's comparable. I would assume he has more assists. Maybe Kobe's defense, but Kobe's a big like intangible guy. Like that's a big part of his legacy. So maybe Kobe's comparable. Magic might be tough. Bird, I think you can put him over. Shaq might be tough.
Duncan's got 5.
Oh, Duncan's the one everyone forgets about. Yeah.
Duncan's Robert Horry.
He's not passing big shots.
He's not passing him.
But then you fall into the next tier of all the guys like KG, I don't know, Dirk, Olajuwon. I don't know.
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas, Patrick Ewing, Barkley, like those guys who are like, nobody has them in their top 10, but like they're in the teens, like they're right there. He's definitely clearly past like those guys. So
yeah,
I don't think top 5 is a stretch. Definitely top 10. And again, I know this sounds like it's all based off one game 5, but that was about like as epitome of, I think, what you consider a legacy game as you can. Like they had no business winning that game. And he certainly had no. And here's the other part of that stat line. He played 48 minutes. He did every minute. He literally couldn't have played anymore. That's what I'm curious to see how tonight unfolds. In Milwaukee, him coming off 48 minutes and already like, behind James Harden, coming off 46 minutes to get 5 points. I don't know. You think they win tonight? Brooklyn?
I'm going to say yes. Yeah,
I think they have to. I don't think they want to. I don't think they're in the right place to deal with a game 7. I don't think Steve Nash wants anything to do with a game 7. And that's a tough scenario for your hobbled stars. Is Kyrie just like out like indefinitely?
I'm guessing he's most likely out for the rest of the series.
Yeah. We'll see. But again, Harden could come back and look better tonight. I saw this on Twitter. It's like a prop bet or something. KD to score 30 or more is minus 600. Yeah. That's like, what do we like? And I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take the under, rather. Like, fuck that. And even if you take that bet, that's just silly money.
Yeah.
Like, it's not worth making 1/6 of my money or whatever it comes out to. So anyway, I think the general conclusion is Kevin Durant's good.
Yeah. I'm glad we discussed this like in our pre-production meeting.
Yeah, I didn't
make sure we all
on the same page. Yeah, I'd rather hear what you have to say about some of the off-the-court stuff in the past weeks. Just to touch on Philly real quick, I think Ben Simmons stinks. That's like the equal amount of certify. I can certify KD's top 10. I can certify Ben Simmons kind of stinks, or at least is overrated. Like we talked about point guards with Leahy a couple weeks ago. It's a stretch to find like a big number of point guards in the league I'd really like hitch my wagon to under Ben Simmons.
I mean, there's not that much difference between Ben Simmons and Giannis realistically. Skill set.
Yeah, I guess, except one is playing point guard and one is a true power forward and one can put up like 30 points a night.
Right, but I'm saying like in terms of them being one-dimensional, like yeah, they can both guard. Oh yeah, they can both score at the basket when they want to.
You can almost
Ben Simmons doesn't really want to do that much.
Yeah, but
he doesn't want to shoot at all.
Well, that's actually a good point. Like they both stink at shooting threes, but Giannis takes them. At least Ben Simmons knows enough not to take it. Like he's not wasting a possession.
And that's the argument, because people get on him for not shooting him and not even like posing a threat. So it's like, well, what do you want? We see
lose.
we see both situations played out.
Mm-hmm.
So
Tough one for old Benny boy. What else is going on with KD? You pulled up the
let's get into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So KD recently been in the news, obviously, for all the basketball stuff, but apparently he recently went on a date, and it wasn't 100% confirmed, but it's been confirmed by the internet that he went on a date with a young lady by the name of Lana Rhodes.
Porn star?
Adult films. Yeah.
Excuse me. Adult film star.
Yes. And I wanted to read or quickly summarize two articles that I read. One explains how the internet figured out it was him, which is, I think, fascinating. Another aspect of just like KD's online presence that's funny.
Yeah.
And then another article, which, let me see here, which explains how the date went.
Okay.
So essentially, the reason it caught so much flack was because, as it goes, this girl, Lana, she went on a podcast and she told a vague story. I'm reading this from a tweet.
Yeah.
She told a vague story about a NBA player who met her for a date and brought a Plan B girl in case Lana wasn't down to smash. This was in New York after a game, meaning that she was referring to either the Nets or the Knicks.
Sure.
In April, on Dave Portnoy from Barstool on his podcast, Lana discussed going out with a player in Miami, but was very hesitant to name names or drop any hints. Dave made a couple comments implying he knew the player and was actually friends with him. Who was in town that weekend? The Brooklyn Nets. So now the Knicks are out and we're down to the Nets.
Okay.
In another episode, Lana lets it drop that the player she is seeing is a Libra. There's only one Libra on the Nets, Kevin Durant.
Really? Okay. Nice. A little detective work.
It continues. KD is the only net born as a Libra. He is a crazy enough motherfucker to bring a Plan B on a date. He also joked with Portnoy recently about there's a story about like Portnoy shitting on Michael Rappaport, and there's a little like back and forth with KD. So it's like kind of confirms their friendship. And then on her podcast, the girl described her date as having no interests because this person allegedly hates small talk. Oh, and one last twist. Lana Rhodes is currently pregnant. So that's like the sleuthing of the whole thing.
Whoa. Currently pregnant?
Yeah. This is back in March.
At the time of the date?
No, now.
When was the date?
March or April.
Oh, okay. So you think that whoever was on the date with her got her pregnant?
That's what a lot of people seem to think if you keep reading this thread.
That seems like a big deal. No, I didn't hear that part of it.
Yeah. Slim Reaper.
No kidding. This reminds me of Cecil Hotel, like the internet, like solving a mystery. Or like helping like expose a mystery. So go internet.
So that part of it's pretty good. Like I thought that was entertaining enough.
Very entertaining.
But then I guess she went on another show afterwards and was kind of like, you know what happens. The internet was basically bitching, saying because the date didn't go over well. Obviously it didn't go over well because he brought us a second like Plan B, whatever, backup girl. That's why this thing
like how that works. Like, how does that work? What do you mean? Like, was she at like the table next to them?
I guess he literally brought a second girl, and when you're Kevin Durant, you can just do that without like
they sat at the same table.
Yeah, I think so.
That's very, very weird. So what
that's
if he
why
goes with option? Well, what if he goes with option A? What happens to option B girl?
I'll text you later, I guess.
Very strange.
So that's why this whole thing is a story to begin with. But then, obviously the date didn't go over well. And a lot of people were giving this Lana girl shit because they were like, yeah, it doesn't matter if you weren't really feeling him or if you weren't like really vibing with him. Like the fact that you didn't go back and hook up with him, like what a bitch you are. Essentially, that's
Oh, so
essentially
they
what the
didn't.
internet thought.
So he didn't get her pregnant.
Not that night.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think they're alleging that they had like previous relations.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
like to whatever address the backlash, she goes on another show and she talks about the date a little more in depth. She goes, she told the story of how the unnamed player brought another date as well as a backup option, and how they never actually connected because he wasn't spicy enough for her or did small talk at all. And while she never said the player's name, she did say that he was a Libra. That, plus the way she described his personality, made NBA fans conclude that she was talking about Durant. Let's see here. The guy who invited me and invited one of the other girls. This isn't the first time that this has happened to me, where I've been invited on a date and they also invite a backup option. We ended up leaving dinner, not because of that situation, because at that point you're already friend zoned and I don't give a fuck who you're talking to. The date was really boring. I don't want to be mean, but me and this guy just didn't click. And I'm like, what's your favorite this? What's your opinion on this? And he was just like, I don't have opinions on anything. I don't have favorite anythings. And he was serious. And
why even go to dinner? Like, this doesn't make any, why even like go out on a date? Like, what's the point of that?
And he wasn't just saying that to shut down the conversation. He's not spicy enough for me, the entertainer concluded. And apparently she got a lot of negative attention from people online who said that she still should have gone to bed with him because she used to do adult films, prompting her anger and some strong messages on social media.
Yeah, that's a tough look.
So that's where the story pretty much ends. But can you, my favorite part of the story is the no small talk. Yeah. Imagine the girl.
That's why I asked, like, what's the point of going on the date if you don't want?
But imagine the girl
maybe
being
I'm
like,
wrong.
what do you like about basketball? And him being like, I don't know, the basketball.
Hate it. Yeah.
The court. I don't know.
Don't get it.
Free throw line.
Don't, maybe I'm generalizing here, but don't like NBA players and celebrities just like message high profile women all the time and just be like, fly out to my house and we can like hook up. Like, why go to dinner? Like, that seems silly. What did you expect to happen at the dinner? It's at least 30 minutes.
Yeah, but I think that like with him already being on the road, and it's like, well, if I can go to dinner somewhere with her, then fuck it, I'll meet up with her. That's and she's an adult film star, a famous one, so this could be kind of cool.
I think I know where she's coming from, because like when I go out to eat or something, the last thing I want to talk about is like, you know, like insurance or like my day job. So maybe she's the same way. Like, like I've been working all day long. The last thing I want to do is work some more.
Oh, you're saying from her perspective.
Correct. Yeah.
Because that explanation sounds like it's from Katie's
I guess good point. You could look at it either way. Kevin Durant doesn't want to talk about basketball and Elena Rose doesn't want to have sex. Like, that's just what it is. Like, hey, I'm not a good fit. No, I'm off the clock. Like, I don't want to talk about work. Come on, let's live a little. Yeah, very strange. I also don't get the point of bringing the plan B girl to the date. Like, why would you actually bring her? If it doesn't work out, why wouldn't you just like text her and say, hey, I'm free. Like, let's hang out.
Maybe on the off chance that if things work out with plan A, you could convince plan B to have a B, and C conversation.
Plan C.
Yeah.
Very, very strange dynamic. Maybe
listen, a lifestyle that I used to live, but I can't do this anymore.
I hear you. Very strange. That I'm trying to visualize it. I'm picturing like three people sitting in a very fancy restaurant. And I don't know, not for nothing. Maybe I understand KD. It doesn't seem like an appropriate setting to have like a serious conversation. It'd be like, you know what this is. Like, look, like, no, like read the room. Like, I don't think you need to know about. It's almost like when we talked about this on an episode before, you talked about that bad date you went on when you're like, the girl's like, hey, like, what are your goals and like admirations? Like, this isn't the time nor the place.
Asking me on the first date when I was like thinking about having kids.
Yeah,
man, I don't fucking know. Can we order something?
Yeah, you know what this is, and that's certainly not what it is. So.
Yeah, you know what kind of time I'm on, and you certainly know what kind of time KD is on.
He said it before. You know who I am, Kevin Durant. You know what this is the whole time.
In the article
Very
too,
strange.
there's like a little snapshot of his Twitter banner and his
Yeah.
logo or whatever, and it's
Like,
Katie Trey 5. I'm me, I do me, and I chill,
yeah.
which is like the perfect
100%.
explanation for him being like, yeah, I'm not here to fucking ask you how your day was. Like, let's get
Mhm.
to it or
Yeah,
get the
he's
fuck out of here.
doesn't seem like he has family man goals anytime soon. I think he's just trying to score 50 points and I don't know, score 50 points again.
Yeah.
Good
Score
for
a few
him.
more points.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the Nets could win tonight. I think after a game like that, and I said the same thing about like Philly and Atlanta. It's like after a game like that, that's just so demoralizing. Like a game you probably should have won, definitely should have won, and just got toasted off the court in like the last 10 minutes or so. So yeah, they'll probably win tonight. So if you follow our show, that means probably Bucks and 7. And Bucks Sixers in the conference finals. Adam Silver will hang himself in his bathroom, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, championship parade down the streets of Milwaukee.
Oh boy, tough luck. Good for Mike Felger. He'll be the first one out there. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll save some of the NBA stuff for later. I did want to touch on the other stuff we had talked about offline.
Yeah.
And I think it makes sense because I don't know when it was, somewhat recently, you mentioned the new Conjuring movie was coming out, Conjuring 3. And then I noticed it was out currently. So I watched it. I let you know that I watched it. And I think you watched it as well.
I did.
For my recommendation. I thought it was good. I really like that franchise. I think The Conjuring makes good movies. Very, very scary. Like, I understand that's like no shit. It's a horror movie, but like I think they're
Some
very
say that's
scary.
intentional.
Yeah, whether it was on purpose or not, I thought it was a scary movie. Like I thought it was scary. I think those are so good. Like they're just so good. So like, obviously, Conjuring 3 is the one I saw most recently, and I don't know how many people listening have seen it because it is somewhat new. So I watched it on HBO Max. Is it in the theaters?
Mhm.
I don't like seeing scary movies in theaters.
Oh, really?
Oh, I don't like it at all.
I watched it at home, and I would have preferred to see it in the theater.
Oh, hell no. I just don't know how to act. Like, I know I'm going to be scared. I'd rather just be scared at my house than in front of other people.
Ugh.
But
I just like the complete darkness of a theater. Everyone's like kind of
turn the lights off
like,
in my house.
Quiet at the same time. Well, that's the other thing. Like sometimes
I know what you mean. Other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big one. That's the big one. No, I liked it. I just like how I was trying to explain this to my wife when we were watching it together. It's like, I think it's who James Wan, who does those movies.
Yeah.
Must be a very scary guy to like take those thoughts from his head and put them on film. Because he does Saw as well, right?
I think so. And I think he does either Insidious or Sinister.
Oh yeah. I think it's Insidious because the same actors in Insidious. Yeah. Another fucking terrifying movie.
Yeah.
But they're good because it's like it almost has like old school horror movie vibes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the beginning was like that exorcist of that kid. Oh, I wrote something else down that you're gonna appreciate in a second. But it was like the exorcism of that. Do you have any idea what you think I'm getting at? There's another Easter egg to our show in that movie.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So anyway, the opening scene, it's like the exorcism on the kid, like a 10-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I've said this before. Any kids in scary movies are exponentially scarier than any other character. But they go through like the exorcism. Well, it's not a spoiler. It's the plot of the movie. Basically, like one of the main characters says like, you know, take me instead, like talking to the demon. So the demon transfers his spirits to like the other main character. And that's basically what the movie's about. But they have that scene and then it freeze frame and cuts to like the scrolling dialogue. Right. And then like the big Conjuring title comes in. That's like vibes of like an old school, like horror movie. And I think that is so cool. Like all the movies do it. All the Conjuring movies do it. And it's so creepy. Like those Ed and Lorraine Warren, right? They're beyond creepy enough. Have you ever seen the clip? I think they showed it at the end of the movies. They have clips of like what they look like in real life.
Yeah, not nearly as handsome as Patrick Wilson and
the chick from
Vera
The Departed.
Farmiga.
Yeah, Matt Damon's girlfriend from The Departed. Yeah, it's if you like showed me the actual people and you said, hey, what do you think these people do for a living? I don't think it would take me long to get to like they summon demons like full time.
I was going to say they either do taxes or demon summonings.
Yeah. it'd be in my top 3 guesses, I think. If you gave me 3 shots, I'd get it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, oh, I know what you guys do. So it's a good movie. But remember there was the scene with the waterbed when they moved into like the new house?
Oh, yeah.
That's the first thing I thought of. I was like, wow, that could have been Matt Reed this entire time, like having a demonic experience with a waterbed.
Who's to say it isn't? And that's why he loves like drinking games so much, is because those are like his exorcisms. That's how he tries to rid himself of like the evil spirits, is through fucking
spirits.
Yeah, through spirits. Whenever we play that game, Civil War.
If you can't beat them, join them.
Damn, I'm gonna have to have a talk with him and see like what's really going on in there.
Much less civil than you'd think.
Yeah.
It's hold on, I'm trying to get my internet back up. Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tough luck. Like we've said, waterbeds are hard enough to manage. If there's like a demon living in said waterbed, that's even harder. That'll throw a wrinkle in the entire thing.
Oh God. When it was the bird's eye view and the kid was laying on the bed and then you saw the face like forming next to him, I was Great like, scene. Dude, you need to get the hell out of there.
Well, it's funny because like as soon as there's a scene with a kid in a waterbed, my mind just started running. Like there's a lot of cool shit you can do with this scenario. Like that's what I mean. Like these movies are great.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's like, no one's ever thought of that. At least on like, well-known like movies. Like that's a great idea. Like something really scary is going to happen. And it did. So it's worth checking out. I think it's on HBO Max or on theaters, but it made me think more. I think the Conjuring series is probably the best horror series of like in recent time. I'm trying to think. Saw's definitely played out. You see Chris Rock is in the new Saw movie.
I've only heard bad things about it, so I will not be watching.
I would assume. I haven't. I'm trying to think. Saw.
Dude, I read the funniest description about that one. It was just someone said it was like Chris Rock was doing an SNL skit and he just happened to be on the set of Saw. And I've got some friends who watched it and were like, yeah, even the way that he delivers the lines, you don't forget that he's Chris Rock. And it's like, well, is it Saw? Because this feels like it's a much lighter tone.
Yeah.
Which isn't something that you want in a movie where someone gets their eyeballs like pulled out of their head or
Saw kind of lost me because it's like kind of similar to what I was saying about the waterbed scene in The Conjuring. Like Saw had some really good ideas, like really good, like all the different like torture, the Saw scenarios, were really cool. But it's almost like the slam dunk contest. Like eventually you're going to run out of cool ideas and it's going to be very saturated. So I don't think people compare Saw and the slam dunk contest enough.
The Saw dunk contest.
One and the same. Imagine Jigsaw entering the dunk contest. It's like they like market it as like a mystery contestant, and then all the lights go down, and then you see Jigsaw pedal out on his tricycle, standing at 3'3" from the depths of hell. Jigsaw.
And I've never figured out, I haven't watched long enough to see like the reveal of Jigsaw. What if you got to the end of that and Jigsaw was just like Kenny Smith?
You don't know who it is?
Huh?
You don't know who Jigsaw is? They reveal him in like the first movie.
They do?
Well, that's not a real person on the tricycle, right?
I do know that, yes.
Like, were you waiting for that person to reveal themselves?
No, I just can't. Oh, wait. Is it that fucking old guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously. If you've seen the first movie, then that's who it is.
How does he...
Great question.
He's like a cancer patient or something, right?
Yeah, it's a long story.
How the fuck is he alive for so many movies?
Yeah, I know. I know. Good point. He has a terminal illness, but he's been making movies for like 20 years. I don't know. It's almost like that... who was it? I think it was Chappelle. Didn't Chappelle have
the Michael Jackson thing?
I thought you was dying, man. What happened to that?
Man, you get stronger and stronger every time I see you.
Yeah. Oh, I wish I could see Chubby Checkers one last time. Yep, it's a very, very good comparison. But no, again, to go back to it, like the Saw movies I thought were great. Like Saw 1 was awesome. Saw 2 was good. I don't remember Saw 3 all that much. But like eventually you just run out of, like I remember the Saw scenarios more than the movies. Like Saw 1 was the two guys in the bathroom. And I don't really remember their like Saw like their Saw scenarios all that well. But Saw 2 was the one where like each character had one. Saw 2 was really good at it. Have you seen Saw 2? Saw 2 was sick. It was like 5 or 6 people. And I think the equivalent, like the gist was like part of their like Saw scenario was like overcoming one of like their vices or like their fears. Mm-hmm. Like I remember the junkie had to like jump in a pool of like syringes and needles to get like the key, which is fucked up. I remember the other one. Remember maybe this was Saw 2 or 3, the woman like frozen and like she was frozen in like what looked like a meat locker. And to get out, she had to like spray her, like she had cold water like sprayed on her. It was fucked up. Like they're obviously all terrible. Yeah. Like the opening to Saw 2 was like the one with like the saw mask, basically a mask of like, I don't know, blades that after a certain timer, it would just like crush your head and kill you. Yeah. Not great. I think, again, to wrap up this episode, Katie's good. Ben Simmons a little overrated. Waking up to a Saw scenario, not ideal. Mm-mm. Okay. When I wake up, dude, the last person I would ever want to see, I think, is that little clown on his tricycle and like a pre-recorded message on my nightstand. Once that happened, like imagine if that was real, like the Saw movies existed, but then they could also happen in real life. Once you wake up and see that guy like pedal down the hallway, like I don't know what you have cooked up here, but I know it's going to be a tough morning. just end it now. I don't need to hear like the riddle. I don't need to know like why I'm here. Yeah. Just like cut my head off or like, I don't know. Like
I'm already going to be late for work.
Yeah. Whatever you were going to circumcise me, like whatever you had planned, just like get to the point. I don't need the whole backstory.
How was the clown controlled? Was that video? Was that
no? That's what I was going to say. I have no idea. I don't think I got to that point in the story. Like, I don't know what that was. Maybe I assume it was like a remote controlled robot or something. But yeah, fuck that guy. That guy was scary. Not a fan of Jigsaw.
Hated that mask.
Boy, was
such
that
a scary mask.
But yeah, so Conjuring are up there. I put it out on the poll. Like, what are some good horror movies or franchises you want to see revised? And I think it's tough now because everyone's doing this anyway. Like every franchise is having like a sequel. I saw a few come in online. The one I really liked, someone said The Ring. I really like The Ring. I'd like to see The Ring redone with some, more 2020 CGI and stuff. I'd like to see, I think it'd be, and I know they've done like Friday the 13th and like Jason, but I think like something set in present time, like like an ode to like the like Cabin on the Lake, like slasher type, like horror movie would be sick. Yeah. Set on like Lake Lanier. Lake Lanier should have a horror movie at this point or a documentary. It really should. Does it have like any sort of documentaries like Netflix or like it? I don't know how. Maybe
nothing like maybe that's not enough well known enough to make it to us.
That's what I mean. Definitely. That would be incredible. There's like
Tyler as a cameo. Oh my God. I would pay so much money to see that.
It's him just voicing over the Bob Williams crack user like image. Oh, that has to be the first person you call. I'm trying to think. It's him and Julio Jones. Like who else do you call for a cameo on Lake Lanier? They actually did an episode on that macro dosing podcast about it this week, which was really good. Yeah, the Lake Lanier like background story is fascinating. Not to get too into it, but it's a really good like not even a conspiracy theory because it's all factual. Yeah, people actually die there, and they like basically like made a dam out of like old every ingredient to a perfect horror story. It was like ancient Indian burial grounds, cemetery, like abandoned like cities were just like watered over.
Man-made.
Yeah, just not a good formula to have a successful day on the lake. Do you know the Julio Jones story? I forgot about it till they mentioned it on that podcast.
Julio Jones and Lake Lanier?
Uh-huh.
No.
He was like swimming or maybe jet skiing, and he lost one of his earrings. Again, this is going to sound, people have had way worse snares than Julio Jones has, but like he lost one of his, and I think he was quoted at $150,000 earring in the lake. And someone was like, hey, like, you know, we can have like a scuba diver, or maybe it was even like, have you give you the equipment to dive down there and find it. And he's like, nah, I'm straight. Like not even close to worth it. Like I'll eat a couple $100,000 and just not dive into Lake Lanier. Cause some of the stories are like one of the stories they mentioned on the podcast was, this was like they asked users to like send them their stories. Someone said this, a girl like jumped off a trampoline into the lake. And like you said, they washed over like it was an old city. Like there's houses under there. She dove into the lake, landed in a chimney of an old building that was washed over, and like couldn't get out and drowned and died. And they found her down there like a long time later. I think one of the, and they talked about this for a while, but one of this, and this is like a no, like obviously, but one of the scariest scenarios ever is jumping into a pool, a body of water, and just not coming out. Like how scary that would look as like a bystander, like watching someone jump in the water, you just never see them again.
Yeah.
Not a great look.
You don't even see like the bubbles floating to the surface.
Nope. Gone. See you later. But yeah, what are some other horror franchises that came? Like, what are some of your favorite horror franchises in general? And then ones you'd like to see redone?
I was a huge fan of Blair Witch, and I didn't watch that for the first time until a couple years ago.
Yeah, those movies suck.
Okay. But Blair Witch 1 was incredible. I loved the ending. I wish that I had been able to see that in the theaters.
I forget. Like, basically nothing really happens, right? Like, nothing scary happens.
You don't really see much.
Kind of like Paranormal Activity. It's a lot of hype. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah.
But like there's a certain part that reminds me of like, I don't know, any fucking camping trip, but specifically Saco, where when they're in their tent and all of a sudden at like 3 or 4 in the morning, one guy wakes up to go look at something, doesn't come back. So the other like remaining people are scared inside their tent, kind of like huddle around each other. And all of a sudden their tent gets shaken like it's a fucking tornado going off around them. So that part was
I guess terrifying. Yeah, you're right. Well, that's
I like that
part about those movies, like that in Paranormal Activity. It's just like the anticipation of something scary to happen, because also it's first person like point of view.
Yeah. Also, when they realize that they've been walking in a circle and that like they don't know how much time has passed, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, that is
relatable.
Terrifying. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, good point. So yeah, if they did those again, that'd be good. I'd see that.
They came out with one sequel. A few years after the first one, and no one even acknowledges that one because it was shitty. And then they actually did come out with a more acknowledged sequel a couple years back, which is good. But I would definitely watch more.
Have you ever heard of Insidious, great call, but more along the lines of Blair Witch? I think they used to be on Netflix. Me and Poolin watched them. VHS.
Yeah, I've seen those. Those are good.
Oh, those are great.
Yep.
Those are so good. Like those are like anthology type, like short, like first person movies. Those are really good. And then there's another one called REC, like record. Have you seen that one?
I think I have.
I forget which one's, but I think VHS is a more mainstream one. I'm really surprised you've seen those. I'm really glad you've seen those. Those are very good. Very scary.
There's a lot of good horror out there if you're willing to like sit through some of the bad ones. I feel like as long as it has at least a 40 on the like consumer whatever aspect of Rotten Tomatoes, I'm like, all right, that's good enough for a horror movie. Like I'll at least be scared. You know what's randomly scary? The 2 movies that are based. Oh no, one of them's terrible, but one of them's really good. But remember when there were 2 movies that were based off of everything was just filmed at a laptop perspective, and it was about
like Unfriended.
One of them is really good, one of them really bad. I can't remember which one's which.
I think Unfriended sucked. What was the other one? That wasn't that a VHS series? One of the VHS shorts I thought was based off a laptop.
It
Or maybe a
might have
Black
had that
Mirror
too,
episode.
but there's like two specific movies where the whole movie was like that.
Fuck, I totally know what you mean. I think I've seen them both. One was Unfriended, and I think that was the bad one. Oh,
So,
oh, never mind. I was gonna say Paranormal Activity 4 is set up like that, I think, too. A lot of Paranormal Activity 4 is set up on a laptop. But yeah, I know what you mean. And I know what you mean. I've seen one that I thought was good. So I don't know which one that is.
surprisingly
But yeah, I
good
agree.
considering like the circumstances.
Yeah. I think there's been a few like that though. I think maybe if you don't know what I'm talking about at VHS, maybe that was that movie Wreck I was talking about, one of the short films in Wreck. I think there was a Black Mirror episode too, set up like that. But yeah, that's a good call. Those are good. Those are good. I think we've talked about this before. I do like the Paranormal Activity movies. Like if you take them for what they are, they're good movies. If you're going in there thinking like this is actual someone's fucking recording and this is real, then you're an idiot. It's for what it's worth. It's a very good movie. I still think Conjuring is probably the best movie, like from beginning to end. I'm trying to think what else has even come out. I like Cabin in the Woods a lot. That's got to be probably close to 10 years at this point.
That's the one that turns into
yet.
like not so much a horror movie, right?
Yeah, it turns into like a weird like sci-fi. That's the one when there's like government control. Like
I gotta rewatch that because I did not
me
like
too.
that the one time that I watched it.
Oh, I thought I liked it. Have you seen the Evil Dead remake? Thought that was good.
I don't think
That's
so.
a good like cabin movie. That movie was scary. Now that I think about it.
Oh, here's a couple good ones. Yeah, I'd call it horror. Don't Breathe.
I don't think I've seen that one. Is that the one with all the blind people?
One blind guy and then 3 people with perfect vision. The ratios.
What's the one you showed? Remember we watched it at your house with like
that one was so good.
Living in the walls.
Within.
Great.
That
flick.
was a great movie that you would never hear about.
No, how'd that? It's a spoiler at this point. What was like the twist on that one? You thought
the guy
it was
had been living in the house the whole time.
Right.
He was a squatter.
The movie made you think it was like a paranormal thing, right?
Kind of because of the way that he was like moving around and shit.
But it was just a guy. Those are the movies I like where I'd rather have like you think it's something paranormal and it turns out to be something that could happen in real life. Yeah. You know what I mean? As opposed to like the other way around. Like it's a real thing and you find out they're actually like an alien or something. Like, okay, that doesn't really mean anything to me. But yeah, I actually wrote down a couple more. I think I know I think Are You Afraid of the Dark did come back. Like I think they did like a reboot of it on Nickelodeon. I'd like to see like in a TV MA or like rated R, like Goosebumps or Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah.
That would be sick.
I could do that.
I could also go for a new Headless Horseman or like Sleepy Hollow. I know they did the one with Johnny Depp like a while ago. That movie kind of stunk, but I think that's one of the better like horror tales of all time. Like simple, like Ichabod Crane versus the Headless Horseman. You could do that. There's enough good actors right now where I think you could put that together. And
the improvement of CGI like every year,
right?
Just make that so
you can make a really good Headless Horseman in 2021 if anyone's listening. I was trying to think of like the old school like black and white horror movies. I think the only one I'd really be interested in is I remember we talked about this. Another Easter egg on our show would be a new Frankenstein. Cast a really cool like Dr. Frankenstein and then do a good CGI like actual monster. I think you could do something with that.
I was gonna say you could just use fucking Boban Marjanovic.
Not a bad option. Not a bad option at all. Someone else said Back to the Future. Not horror related. I'd see a Back to the Future remake. That's due. That's definitely due. What am I thinking? That's like from the 80s.
Yep.
That would be a damn good one. There's some good actors who could do that. I don't really know who. I'm trying to think. I could see like the guy who plays Better Call Saul as the doctor. I could see something like that.
Oh, okay.
And then the kid who plays Walt Jr. as Marty McFly. Or maybe I'm just thinking of a Breaking Bad episode when they go back to the future. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. The other one I said I had one more. Oh, Oh, okay. Couple ideas here. I would like to see a horror spin on Toy Story, like a Toy Story 5, where just like all hell breaks loose and they're just like, I'm done with this. Like, I am killing Andy's family and I'm just going to be like on my own now. Like Buzz and Woody really get after each other. And
It
like,
would just be like
try
the
and kill
toys
each other.
from Toy Story 4 going nuts.
Yeah, or exactly. Or just be like Sid's toys from the
Yeah.
first one, which basically was a horror movie. Those toys were scary as fuck.
Oh my God.
Like
yeah.
the Barbie doll legs with like the fishing net.
Yep.
That weird like baby head doll on like the
Spider
erector
legs
set or whatever it was. Yeah. Yeah, Toy Story had some scary scenes, but like flip-flop the ratio. Like 80% scary to 20% like feel-good family film. And then are you an M. Night Shyamalan guy or no?
Yeah.
Me too. I could use a new M. Night Shyamalan movie. I think he owes us a good one. I think he gets a lot of flack. Like his movies are, I think maybe his movies aren't great, but his twists are good. Like he's a good writer.
You're in luck.
Ideas. A new one?
Yeah.
Sixth Sense too. The seventh sense.
Yeah. Okay. He's coming out with a movie in, I think it's July. I saw it when I went to go see A Quiet Place.
Oh, nice.
There's a preview for, and this is no spoiler. It's basically a couple families like go to the beach and they kind of like encounter each other. No, not the beach, but like a very cool tropical getaway. Mm-hmm. And then you see that time is like speeding by really quick. So when they show up there, like it's parents and a bunch of little kids. And then like an hour later, the little kids are like 10 years older. So everyone's aging super quick. It looks really good.
That sounds good, I guess. I think a beach is a good setting for a horror. There should be more horror movies based around a beach.
Yeah.
I guess outside of Jaws. But yeah. Now I could use I think like what do you think his best movie is? Probably Sixth Sense, Signs. Probably Sixth Sense and Signs.
Probably Sixth Sense, yeah.
Unbreakable. I know people like.
I do.
Did you like Split?
Like Unbreakable a lot. Yeah, I love Split.
Split was a great movie.
Yeah.
Like great. Again, like I can't even like keep track of all like the twist endings, but Split was great. Sixth Sense, obviously. Signs is awesome. Did you like The Village? Have you seen The Village?
Yeah, I like that movie.
That movie gets a lot of shit. I think that's a great movie. Village is awesome. That's such a great, like the thing about it is like the movie isn't good until you find out the twist.
Mm-hmm.
But then it makes you retroactively think like, wow, now that I know this is a really good movie. Like lay off M. Night Shyamalan. The guy gets a lot of shit.
Seriously, we are here to defend him. So if anyone has any nasty things to say about him, why don't you send them our way first?
There's one with Mark Wahlberg too. That movie kind of blew.
Yeah.
The Happening. That deserves a remake. So I don't think it's a bad idea. But yeah, the movie kind of sucked. Hold on, I'm gonna pull him up real quick. Great looking guy. Career. Ooh, I'm on his wiki. Controversy. What's controversial about him?
He's in a lot of his movies.
I love that too. I love when directors cameo in their movies.
Yep.
I'll always really enjoy that. I just want to see his fucking movies. Did you like Signs?
Yeah, love that movie.
That was a scary movie.
The end was interesting. Beating a bunch of aliens up with baseball bats.
That was the one where they were like allergic to water, right? Or like you could beat them with water. Wasn't that the thing? Or was it baseball bats?
I know they beat them with baseball bats, but I don't know if there's another weakness that they had.
Oh, okay. Oh, he did this movie? Hold on. I'll make sure this is true. Did he do The Visit? Do you know that movie?
Yeah.
That is a great movie. Great movie. God, that is a great movie. Super scary.
The old woman in that movie is terrifying. When she's crawling like underneath the house pretending to play tag or whatever.
This woman?
That's the one.
That is such a good movie. Oh my God. We got to give that dude his flowers while he's still alive. No more M. Night Shyamalan slander. He makes movies that no one else can make. Like you can be like, wow, this movie's stupid, but no one else has even come close to thinking of that movie. Visit's awesome. Visit has a lot of kind of similar to Get Out. I think Get Out's a great movie. I think actually that's up there with The Conjuring. If you consider it a horror movie,
yeah,
Get Out's one of the better horror movies the last like 10 years.
Yeah.
That movie's outstanding. I
Did
haven't
you like
seen
Us?
the other. I think that's the one. I haven't seen that one yet. Is that good?
Very good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Get Out's great. Jordan Peele is also another very weird career path, but but like a very good like serious horror movie director. Very weird career path.
Yeah.
Very funny guy, hilarious, but can also make really like eye-opening, scary movies. So yeah, I could use a new M. Night Shyamalan movie. Get Out was good. I'm just trying to think. There's got to be other, like I'm trying to think of other horror movies I've seen. I guess Quiet Place is probably the other big one, which I haven't seen.
Have you seen the first one?
I haven't seen any of them. I thought it was like an Office, like an episode of The Office I've never seen before. But then I realized it was just totally different.
Yeah, I would highly recommend it.
Okay. You saw the second one?
Yep. I would argue one of the few times that a sequel lived up to or maybe even surpassed the first one. Very hot take.
Now we're talking. What about horror? Were you a Walking Dead guy?
The first few seasons, I watched
me too. I kind of faded off as well. Did you like American Horror Story?
It was okay. There's like only
kind of the same thing. Like it definitely kind of got weirder and weirder as it went.
How scary can you make something that's on FX?
Yeah, I guess. I really like season 1 was like the haunted house one. That was really good. The next season I think was the asylum.
Yep.
That was good. And then it just got really weird. Yeah, I kind of faded out after that. But I do like those like anthology type horror shows. That's why I'd love to see like a Goosebumps or like Are You Afraid of the Dark remake with like current actors and like like CGI and like newer production.
Well, there's a lot of good horror shows that are recent. Like off the top of my head, there's The Outsider, which is on HBO. If you haven't watched that.
Oh, is that the one with Jason Bateman?
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Definitely need to see that. Yeah, I definitely need to see that.
Castle Rock, which is on Hulu. That was first season is good. The second season was very good.
Yeah. And then the other one was Hill House, Haunting of Hill House. I know we both watched.
Yep.
Those were good. I don't know if did we talk about this at all before the second season? I know we both watched it like through and through.
I thought we briefly did.
I thought it was really good, but it really wasn't like a horror. It wasn't, it had scary scenes. It had scary parts. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying about like Paranormal Activity. If you take Haunting of Hill House season 2, Bly Manor, that's what it was, and understand it's really kind of like a love story or like whatever it comes out to. If you take it at that, it's a great show, great season of TV, really good. With there were some scary moments like the lady in the lake and shit like that, but that was such a great story. I really like that movie. I like that actress. Oh, this girl from You.
Yeah,
great actress.
I just remembered M. Night Shyamalan. I just finished watching The Servant, which is a tremendous show.
Kevin Durant documentary.
Yeah, his rise from PG County, DC.
I didn't see that one. That's on TV or it's a movie? So
that's on Apple TV, and it's very good. There's 2 seasons of that.
Servant. Okay, cool. And I know we kind of talked offline about Black Mirror. We'll save that for like an episode. I think Black Mirror is worth diving into with a little more research. Black Mirror is a fantastic show.
Yeah.
Another like anthology type show. Really good. So cool. So in a nutshell, little KD, little horror movies. I'll check out that M. Night Shyamalan movie. That looks good. And then there's something there. I had another one I thought. I can't remember. Maybe I'm thinking of The Night Of. I know it's not a horror movie, but that was a pretty good miniseries. Did you watch that one on HBO with a kid from like Nightcrawler and some other stuff? You know what movie I do want to see? It's from the Oscars this year. He was in that movie, the like the deaf drummer. I forget what it's called. Something about DJ Bean was talking about it when we were on with him.
Yeah.
What is it called? Something about silence. That looks really good. I really like that actor. I think he's really cool. I'll check that out, but I don't know. Anyway, go see The Conjuring 3. Drink Cold River vodka. See what the Nets do tonight. We'll be back next week. Maybe talk about some Father's Day stuff. Maybe get into the Black Mirror stuff if you guys like this type of conversation. So anything from you before we hop off?
No, sir.
Wow. Awesome. Thanks for coming prepared. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.